And we are back on Sportsman Radio. I'm your host, Chris Shanafel, and I am now joined by South Alabama cornerback Darrius Morrow. Thanks for joining the show, Darrius. How's it going?
Man, it's going good, man. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Hey, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Now, I want to start this interview off by asking you a few personal questions to get to know you a bit, and then we'll talk about your football career. Does that sound all right?
Oh, yeah, that sounds good, man.
All right, cool. Darrius, what's your favorite TV show and movie?
My favorite TV show, I have to say, House, just because, like, House is just a different type of TV show. Like, it's almost like a thriller to me. Like, I like thriller type of movies, and House is just, it's exciting. The guy knows his thing. It comes on USA, so I'll try to catch that anytime, of the day. But my favorite movie, I like 300. I can say 300 is my favorite movie. It's the closest thing to football that you get to watching that other than football movies itself. But I love 300. I love watching like Greek mythology type of movies and stuff like that. So.
That movie's been out for a while now, and it's kind of funny because I'm now just hearing that movie. I'm now hearing that answer like recently. It's kind of crazy. Darrius, favorite thing to eat?
My favorite thing to eat, I say shrimp. I'll say it has to be shrimp. I go to Shrimp Basket every time I get a chance when I'm down here in Mobile, around South, every Sunday.
Favorite thing to do in your free time?
Favorite thing to do in my free time? I like to read. I'm a big time book reader, especially when it comes to reading stories about people coming out of adverse situations. Like I read a lot of Michael Jordan books. I read a lot of different books about just overall intelligence. Like I like this book called The 48 Laws of Power. I got Tony Dungy's his devotional book. I like reading that. I mean, I'm just a real book person, so I say reading.
Except for football, what was your favorite sport?
My first ever love was baseball. I played baseball. First time playing baseball, I was 6 years old. I played it for like 3.5 years, and I always wanted to play it. Even after I started playing football, even now, like with South, we have a great baseball team. Them guys, they almost took it to the College World Series against Mississippi State was the last game. It was unfortunate for the outcome, but those guys are doing well. So I say baseball.
All right. Do you have a favorite NFL team?
Oh yeah, most definitely the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love Pittsburgh, man. Something about that D block, man. It reminds me of our South Alabama defense. The way they're so aggressive and they go to the ball and just the style of play. It reminds me a lot of all the defenses I played in from high school to junior college to now. Being at South, I love Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, and last but not least, if you're able to meet any famous person, who would that be and why?
Any famous person. If I had to meet any famous person, I'll say Abraham Lincoln. The reason why, because Abraham Lincoln was such a different guy in his era. He thought so differently when it came to making so many important decisions upon like just the U.S. in general. When it came to race, when it came to to me, I seen the movie and I read about him. I did different biographies on him coming up in school, and I always had an interest in him and how he handled himself and made decisions. I was like, man, he's such a great leader, and there's somebody I know that I'd like to meet if I had an opportunity to do so.
I love it. Chris Shanafel here talking with South Alabama cornerback Darrius Morrow on Sportsman Radio. Darrius, let's talk about your football career now. And first things first, when did you start playing football?
I actually started playing football, man, my senior year of high school. I ran track all my high school career, and I bounced around and stuff like that. But I didn't get to play until my senior year. I played everything but cornerback. What I play now, I play receiver, swing back. I was on kick return, punt return. They had me playing like down the rover position, and I played safety. But all I had to do was just turn, run, and come down the hit. So it wasn't nothing compared to this cornerback position that I'm playing now.
You currently attend University of South Alabama. Now, I believe you actually attended a junior college at first. How did you decide you wanted to move on to South Alabama?
Actually, man, it's a crazy situation because I went to two junior colleges, as a matter of fact, before coming to South Alabama. When I first got out of high school, after leaving high school, I went to El Camino College in Torrance, California, and that's where I met a lot of guys. That's where I first started to learn the cornerback position. They wanted to put me there, and I worked alongside of Mike Harris. He's now the Jacksonville Jaguars star cornerback. Worked with him, Kimbrell Tompkins. He's a receiver. He plays with the New England Patriots. He was at Cincinnati. So those guys, like, basically working alongside of Mike, telling me what to do as a corner, for him being the corner and working against Kimbrell Tompkins. He was like the number one receiver during that year. He told me what not to do, what he expect corners to do, and what I should do in this situation. I mean, it was crazy. It was a great experience, learning experience, especially when it came to competition, because in junior college, I believe that the competition level is taken to a whole different level. Even when it comes to Division I, like junior college guys, they grind way differently than any other type of guy. So, and then I tore my labrum while I was at El Camino. It was an unfortunate situation, but I think it all happened for a reason. And when I tore my labrum, before I tore my labrum, I was getting ready to go to either Oklahoma State or Cincinnati or UCLA. And I tore my labrum, so I transferred to Hutchinson Community College, and that's where I met Cordell Patterson, the former Tennessee wide receiver, now the Minnesota Vikings wide receiver. And going against him every day, it was just like going against Kimbrell, but he was just a tad bit bigger. You know, Cordell like 6'4", 210, 215, running a good 4.3, 4.2. So it was a different style of competition as far as receiving. Him being my opponent at practice, that was different for me. But my recruitment had rolled over, man. Transferring from El Camino College to Hutchinson, and everybody thought that I was going to play once I got out there, and then due to transferring situations, I wasn't able to play. And Oklahoma State and different schools like Baylor and Indiana, Minnesota, a lot of those schools, they stopped talking to me. And even with South Alabama being there with me through the whole step of the way, I felt that it's like, man, that's such great loyalty, and for me to be a part of that program that showed me such respect and stay behind me the whole way, I said they deserved my commitment because I stand behind them 100%.
And last year was your first year at South Alabama, is that correct?
Yeah, that was my first year.
How did that first year treat you, man? You enjoy it out there?
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. The first year was crazy for me because I always dreamed of playing Division I ball. And with me coming in to South Alabama with their first Division I year as far as playing schools in the Sun Belt Conference and schools, playing against SEC and ACC schools, it was a real experience. I loved it because this is the life that I always dreamed of. Being a junior college, we didn't have the CAF like we have in CAF here, have the resources to get you better in your academics, like tutors and mandatory study hall, things of that nature. That really opened my eyes to say, man, I'm really moving to the next level as far as a step closer to where I want to be at the end of my career. So, and I received it, and it's such a blessing just to be here, even on the football side, like going into the locker room, how practice was organized and how they ran things. It was so different for me, but I loved it. I enjoyed it, and I soaked it in like a sponge. So when it came to play, I made the most plays I could. Well, when they came my way, and even when they didn't come my way, I tried to put myself in a position to make a play. So I'm loving it. Until this day, I'm getting better. So I'm loving it, man.
Hey, that's great to hear. And, you guys have a pretty good team entering your second year there. How effective do you believe South Alabama's cornerback duo with yourself and Tyrell Pearson could be this season? How effective?
Oh, man, it's going to be deadly. That's all I mean. It's going to be deadly this year, man. From the blessings of Patrick Peterson Sr. and Patrick Peterson Jr., from working out with them to doing different things on our own, we have elevated our game to a whole different level when it comes to playing the defensive back position, not just cornerback, but I'm saying defensive back because this season a lot of guys. It's gonna be a lot of different things going on. That's all I can say. It's all I can say. There's gonna be a lot of different things going on when it comes to me and Tyrell when seeing us in that defensive backfield. So it's gonna be some damage done. But we're gonna make plays and we just work so hard and we get on each other, we push ourselves, and we compete every day. We always compete in what we do, and that's what makes us better. So it's gonna be a lot to come for us, I believe, this season. I really trust in that.
What is something about your game, Darrius Morrow, that you are really confident about, and then what is something that you think you could work on?
Something about my game that I really like a lot is my detail, my precision, like the way I pay attention to every little detail, to everything that's going on. Like I study film so much, and I try to study my opponent so much. It just I feel like it takes me to another level where nobody else is on the field. Because I know in the NFL guys have to do that. They have to sit in hours and hours of film sessions and hours of class sessions with the position and defensive meetings just to learn the opponent. I feel just my IQ of the game, for me not to be playing it as long, I work so hard to get a better understanding of myself and my opponent, because that's the only way that I know that I was going to beat them. I know talent-wise, I'm fast. I run a 4.37. I'm strong. Athleticism isn't an issue, but I figured that one thing that'll separate me from anybody else is my IQ of the game. Because if I know my opponent, I know his weaknesses, I'll be able to attack those weaknesses, and they'll put me on top. So I can say that's the strength of my game, and the weakness I can say is just being a little more patient. Playing the cornerback position, you have to be patient because, first of all, you never know when the ball is going to come your way. And when the ball doesn't come your way, it's easy to get a little lackadaisical. You can get lazy to the extent of not playing your technique perfect at all times. And one thing that I learned from being out there with Patrick Peterson, and especially his father, pointed this out, he made a point of emphasis that you always, at all times, no matter if the ball is coming your way or it's a dead play, you always have to be on point with your technique, because a lot of times the way offenses are set up now, they set up to make you fall asleep so they can hit you with the big play. And it wasn't necessarily an issue for me because I always gave it my all every single play, but I wanted to make sure that my focus on being a perfect technician out there on the field is grade A. So there's always room for improvement when it comes to technique and focusing.
All right, now you mentioned you work out with all-pro NFL cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals, Patrick Peterson. Now, maybe he'll be the answer or not, but if you would compare yourself to a player currently playing in the NFL today, who do you think that would be and why?
I never really thought of that. If I had to compare myself to the NFL defensive back, I would say Tyron, because I would say Tyron Matthew. Mm-hmm. The reason being because how he runs he's always around the ball. He has a nose for the ball, and on my I can say one thing that I did last year that I think it was so natural, but when I see myself on film doing it, I was always running to the ball, and when I ran to the ball, if I was around it, I made something. I had an effect on the ball, carry of the ball. So it's been a lot of times, like I had 3 forced fumbles this past season, and each time I had to, to pursue the ball. It wasn't necessarily, the ball never came my way. When I made those type of plays, and when I made those different plays where I had to strip the ball or run down the running back from catching a touchdown or right in the end zone, I strip the ball at the last minute. Those plays are the ones that people don't understand when it comes to just being a football player, because a lot of people think that you only can be a playmaker when you're around the ball. And like with Tyron, he puts himself in that position. He runs towards the ball and he makes an impact on the ball carrier and the ball, so the ball pops out. So that's what I compare myself to, because he's an animal out there, and it's just a great guy. So That's one person I can say.
Hey, that is not a bad decision, man. Of course, he went in the third round this year to the Arizona Cardinals, and I'm saying this right now, he's a steal. I mean, this is the guy that was a Heisman runner-up, and there's no doubt he's going to be a steal. I know he's going to do some big things out there in Arizona. Wow. Darius, just a few more questions for you, and then I'll let you go. What is the most memorable play of your football career thus far?
The most memorable play of my football career at South?
Either junior college or South Alabama.
I'm gonna say at South, since it's the most recent one. I remember we was playing our rival, Troy. Well, no, let me see. Yeah, let me see. Most memorable. No, I can say this was one of our probably our second game of last season. We was playing against Nichols, and it was at the end of the game. And it was like 9. We had 9. South Alabama had 9. Nichols had 3. And we was going in, thinking that it was going to be an easy win because it was an out of conference game, and they wasn't D1. They wasn't D1A. They was a D1 AA school, and we just had so much talent. But the game ended up being tougher than we really planned it out to be. So at the end of the game, they tried to throw a corner to the slot receiver, and I was playing in between the number 1 and the number 2 receiver, B.J. Scott, our former free safety. He ended up getting picked up to go to the Chicago Bears, and he was playing on top of that number 2 receiver, that slot, and the quarterback went to throw it flat. And man, I jumped so high. I swear my vertical leap had to be like a 44 or 45 that time, because I was like, it felt like if I wasn't there to make that play, it would have been such a battle between the receiver and BJ. And I said, why not be there to make the play and end the game versus let it go and let it be a 50-50 chance with BJ and the receiver. So I jumped up, and the quarterback didn't think I was gonna sink to the receiver, and I sinked, and I went up and got that ball out of there after her, and it went out of bounds. So man, that was a great time. The clock ended right on that play. Right after the offense came, like 3 seconds left, the offense came out and kneeled. So that was, I can say, that was probably one of the most memorable times. I feel like I had stepped up and made a great play right there.
That's awesome. Now, Darrius, you have a big year coming up, man. You're going to be entering the 2014 NFL Draft, and I know you have some high expectations for yourself. Can you tell us what those expectations are of yours for this upcoming season?
And I like how you said the expectations, because I had to fix my vocabulary a couple of days ago. I went to change. I had a goal sheet that I carried around, and I took the word goals off, and I put expectations. But the reason being is because when a person has goals, it's almost they're saying, I want this to happen, but if it doesn't happen, it's okay. But expectations is something that you expect of yourself.
Yes,
and I expect myself to make every play possible that I can when I'm out there on the field. And I remember talking to Sean. Sean had asked me about what I plan to do this season. I told him I really didn't have a number for every stat, for tackles, for interceptions, for forced fumbles, touchdowns, because I didn't want to put a limit on myself. I didn't want to make it a goal. Because just like they told David Amerson that when he was at NC State, that possibly no corner, no DB had more than 10 picks, but that guy had 12. And I said, well, it's possible for me to get more than that because I work just as hard. That's how I feel. So my expectation is to come in and to make as much play as possible, to win games with my team at South Alabama, to win the Sun Belt Conference and win a bowl game. That's my expectation for this season.
Hey, that sounds great, man. Darrius, I really can't thank you anymore for your time. It's really been a pleasure. I'm wishing you nothing but the best. Before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to plug on the air for myself and our listeners?
Oh, man, I just appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do this, man. I appreciate your help, man, and just being able to, just to come to me with these questions, man. It feels good to know there's people out there, that's wanting the best for you. I want to tell Sean I appreciate him for helping me out for everything he has done, and my whole South Alabama football team. Just look out for us this year. We're going to do great things this year.
Hey, it was a pleasure, man. Hopefully we can stay in touch, and best of luck and take care, all right?
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you.